Allez, bonjour. Donc aujourd'hui on continue Vampyr. Alors, je m'étais arrêté où? Ah oui, je devais suivre un mec dans les égouts. Voilà. Alors je vais essayer de bouffer des rats. Alors c'est bizarre à dire comme ça. Mais il y a un succès qui se débloque quand tu manges 10 rats. Je crois que j'en ai mangé 4, 3 ou 4. Donc si je peux en choper, on est dans les égouts. Tout récupérer.
This man has been savagely attacked and dragged to the floor.
C'est même encore étonnant s'il a envie. Ah, ils sont deux. Ah putain, cache. Moi aussi je peux manger. Je ne vois rien, merci. Bâton barbelé commun. On peut voir. Oh putain, ça bouffe de l'endurance. Ouais, ça fait du... Ouais, non. Non, non. L'autre il attend de crever 10 fois avant que... avant que j'arrive à... Oh. Corps là-bas. Citoyen en danger. Prudence, citoyen en danger. pourrait ne pas survivre la nuit prochaine. À lui porter secours. Putain, mais je fais A pour esquiver alors que c'est B. Pourquoi j'appuie sur A? Je suis con. On a compris.
Are you injured, sir?
Help me get out of here. I need to get out.
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd be glad to help you, but you must calm down first. Please, take a deep breath and tell me your name.
Okay. I'm Oswald Thatcher. Please, I need to get out.
All right, Mr. Thatcher, you're safe now. Do you think you can reach the street by yourself?
Yes, I do.
Good. Now leave this place and enjoy the cool night air. It's quite invigorating. I'm sure you'll feel better if you do.
Oh, allez, barre-toi.
Are you sure you're...
Oui, donc du coup, j'ai dit que j'allais manger personne. En tout cas, personne d'humain. Les monstres, là, je m'en fous, mais... on va essayer de la jouer vampire semi-vegan. Oh. Wishing. Du coup, moi, c'était par là. Viens par là, Laura. Le bannissement du dragon. Bon, ça va. Alors, en ce qui concerne la confrérie de l'étoile de Saint-Paul, je recommanderais à nos membres de se méfier de ces soi-disant intellectuels. Oui, en effet, la plupart d'entre eux sont toujours affables et respectueux lorsqu'ils nous approchent, mais il serait peu judicieux pour un cercle aussi discret que le club Ascalon de sottement parler de nos objectifs, de nos recrues ou de nos traditions. J'aimerais également rappeler à nos chers membres de la confrérie que la confrérie est elle-même suffisamment ancienne pour avoir quelques traditions mystérieuses. Selon quelques sources, l'une de ces traditions pourrait être le rituel du soi-disant bâtissement du dragon. Il semblerait que, dans certaines circonstances, lorsque les frères de Saint-Paul découvrent un immortel violent ou assoiffé de sang, ils appellent à son bannissement. En quoi cela consiste-t-il exactement? Je l'ignore. Ces rituels existent-ils vraiment? Je n'en suis pas certain non plus. Mais ce que j'ai établi en étant que fait, c'est qu'à chaque fois qu'un vampire hostile ou vindicatif a menacé Londres, il a disparu sans laisser de trace après que la confrérie a prononcé son bannissement. Notre loyal Fergal Bancha lui-même n'a jamais été assez idiot pour provoquer ouvertement la confrérie. C'est une leçon que nous ne devons pas oublier. Ne soyez au grand jamais considéré comme un dragon par la confrérie. Je sais pas pourquoi, je sens que ça va nous arriver. Ah. Alors, par là. Ouh, ça sent le fight. Ben tiens, la bête des égouts.
What sort of creature is this?
Bah, je vais lancer mon attaque. Allez, viens là. Toujours pas mid-life, le salaud. j'avais oublié que j'avais les sérums. Ah. Oh, j'ai eu chaud. Saloperie.
Here's what's left of him. Not a lot to check, but I should anyway.
Si vous êtes malade et que vous n'avez pas d'argent, qui que vous soyez, d'où que vous veniez, Dorothy est là pour vous aider. Sans entourloupe, sans frais, sans question. Trouvez la maison. La maison de Darius Petrescu et présentez ce bon. Et c'est écrit en autre langue.
Some voucher for a free check-up in Whitechapel. What is Nurse Crane up to? I really must find her.
Ah, merci Léra. Du coup, par là. Donc je dois me rendre à Whitechapel. Voilà. Merde. Je pourrais peut-être aller aussi me reposer. Ouais, on va faire ça. Alors. Alors, traitement pour la fatigue, j'en ai un. Traitement pour l'anémie, le sérum. Ah merde, je peux en faire que 2. Bon. Restore immédiatement 60 points de sang. Ensuite, ça, je peux pas encore améliorer. Est-ce que je peux améliorer la scie? Ouais, je peux. Alors, augmente les dégâts infligés de 10%. Absorbe des points de sang lorsque l'arme touche la cible. Plutôt ça. Ça, je peux pas encore. Encore 2 morceaux. Bon, bah voilà. Ah oui, analyser ça. Alors, utiliser pour un dialogue. Bah écoute, si je peux. Non, ça je peux pas, ça je peux pas, ça je peux pas. Contre le rhume. Écoute, je vais en faire un. Voilà. Ensuite. Parce que là, j'en ai des points. Tactique. Charge. Sinon, j'ai 100. Science à notre voie, transporter 3 sérums sur vous, augmente le nombre de balles. Le nombre de balles, j'ai dit que je m'en foutais. Ça peut être utile. Voilà. Ensuite, lame de sang. Ah non, faut être niveau 8. Bouclier de sang. Crée une barrière visible qui absorbe les dégâts directs. Bon bah allez. Ensuite, on va augmenter la jauge d'endurance. La santé, bon, 300 on peut tout quand même le prendre. Augmente votre régénération de vie lorsque vous êtes morsure au combat. Oh bah allez. Voilà. Événement majeur dans le quartier. Chaque nuit, les conséquences de vos actes peuvent améliorer ou dégrader la situation sanitaire. Celle-ci peut aussi se détériorer si des malades se propagent parmi les citoyens. Puis vous tuez des citoyens, puis un quartier devient insalubre. Si la situation sanitaire d'un quartier tombe sous le seuil critique, ce quartier plongera dans le chaos. Il n'appartient qu'à vous de décider d'un sort d'un quartier. Ouais. Guérir. Alors attends, lui, il lui faut un traitement pour la fatigue. Et lui pour le mal de tête. Est-ce que je peux faire un truc pour le mal de tête? Je ne crois pas. Pneumonie, l'anémie, la fatigue, non. Pour le mal de tête, j'ai rien pour le moment. Par contre, si je pouvais trouver Clay Cox. Ça c'est Sean, Gwyneth, Harriet, Beverly.
Hey, Doc.
Comment je fais pour le guérir?
You're lucky to be alive.
Ah, dans bilan de santé.
I hope you're starting to take better care of yourself.
This place is full of sickness and decay. How could I get better in such a dump?
Consider yourself lucky that I'm treating all of my patients equally. But don't push your luck.
Don't play the innocent with me. I'm sure you have good reasons to act this way. And also weaknesses that can be exploited.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
I've never seen so many people dying at the same time.
Du coup, Milton.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Lui, j'ai rien à lui poser.
I'd like
Wise choice.
Alors. Bah c'est tout, il est avec ça. Et à vendre, armée module, ingrédients de ça, je veux le garder. Bah les balles du coup... Traitement, ok. Camelot, j'en ai pas. Je vais lui acheter ça. Hop.
Perhaps I should consider the offer from that Callaghan
Alors, direction Whitechapel. État du quartier grave. Ah, merde. Putain, niveau 18, j'avais pas vu, mes excuses, monsieur. On se casse. Putain, il m'a fait peur, sale con. Ok, alors, putain de merde. D'accord. En même temps, 3 contre 1, je sais pas trop comment je peux éviter les balles. Forcément, je suis obligé de passer par là.
This is Braille. I need someone who can read this.
Du braille, je vois pas.
What happened? Who are you? It's all right, sir. You're safe now.
Oh, a fellow Englishman. Thank you, sir. For a moment I thought those bloody heathens had killed me.
What are you doing here? This place is not safe.
Yeah, it's a cesspool, but it's mine. I came to collect some overdue rent. But those who still live here have gone completely bonkers.
You're very lucky to be alive.
Yeah, filthy immigrants. Fucking savages, every one of them. And now with this bloody fever, they're just animals.
You can find safety of sorts in Whitechapel. If you're quick and cautious, you'll be able to avoid there. Savages.
Ok. Bon, allez hop. Barre-toi.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Ah, j'ai fait B, hein. Bon, ça me saoule. Putain. Chiant. Ah, merde, dégage. Ah, bordel de merde. Il y en a encore un en haut. Pétition. Monsieur Bates doit cesser. Des mois, voire des années durant, Kotogan Bates nous a exploités. Monsieur Bates doit cesser. Si nous avions plus d'argent ou un travail digne de ce nom, jamais nous ne louerions ces appartements au loyer exorbitant. Nous savons tous quel genre de solution révoltante ils proposent aux femmes qui ne peuvent pas payer leur loyer hebdomadaire. Allons voir tous ensemble et bientôt que des un changement immédiat. Oh, tiens. Petit sac à merde.
You had better. Safety isn't really in it.
Traitement contre le rhume. Ah, je peux pas le faire. Bon, j'ai assez perdu de temps ici.
I have this thirst for blood.
Oh, genre. Putain. Lui il est niveau 18 donc on va le laisser tranquille. Du coup...
This is no...
Super, je me suis coincé tout seul. Ah, je peux pas m'échapper, chier. Ah putain, j'ai appuyé sur B. Fais chier. Je l'aime pas ce système de combat. Oh putain, en plus je reprends là, tu te fous de ma gueule. putain, c'est pas le bon. Alors, un de moins. Appuyez sur B encore une fois. Putain. Ah d'accord, il vise à travers les... Il vise à travers les murs. Très bien. Putain, j'aurais su, j'aurais mis le jeu en facile. Bref, bon, ça c'est fait. Ensuite, je pense par là. À collectionner, ça m'avance pas des masses.
Can't believe I'm doing this.
Ah tiens, nouveau refuge, cool. J'ai combien? J'ai 285. Ok, les autres je peux pas en faire. Ensuite, est-ce que je peux améliorer? Ça toujours pas. Ça non plus. Alors, recyclable. Ok, au moins j'aurai un traitement pour chaque si jamais quelqu'un est malade. Alors, peut-être plus la charge. Ah, mais j'ai pas assez. Et puis tous les autres c'est 300, 300, 300. Voilà, ça c'est carrément 1000. Alors, Bates il veut un truc contre le rhume, ouais. Il y a toujours lui que j'ai toujours pas rencontré. Thatcher, un mal de tête. Ouais, mais j'ai rien pour le mal de tête. Lui, je me souviens absolument pas de lui. Enfin bref.
I have this thirst for blood.
There's one of them. Watch yourself.
Putain, je le... Monsieur, vous m'avez fait peur. Putain. Putain, les grands, ils font vraiment mal. Du coup... Non. La creste, vis... Ah Je l'ai même pas vu. Si je peux éviter des gens. Forcément je pourrais pas les éviter. Il y a quoi? Deux petits et un gros. Là il y a un grand et un petit. Au pire je peux faire ceux d'en bas en premier. Ah putain mais... Je vais aussi m'occuper du mec là avec son arc. Non. Voilà, on va plutôt rester là. Ouh là là. Quoique il a pas l'air si fort que ça, sauf quand il me démonte la gueule. Du coup, il protégeait un truc. Ah d'accord. Alors là on a quoi?
I'd step back, sir. Elite! Elite!
Il faut faire gaffe.
Oh my god!
Ah, ils sont 4.
We have to stop it!
Roger le mur. Ah, d'accord, il a... C'était Roger le mur. Tac. Par là, je vais juste regarder ici un truc.
It's locked. Whitechapel. This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind Lady Ashbury's blackmail. First, let's find this Petrescu fellow.
Alors, il y a un refuge à proximité. Ah non, il est mort.
Fuck you all! Fuck it all! Stop it now, Albert, stop it! I won't end up another drunk arsehole.
Petit meurtre.
Not me.
What? Shooting a boy in the middle of the street. Not the best thing to do, wouldn't you say?
What? You saw what happened? Who are you?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you promise me to set your gun aside.
No. Look, I'm not a violent man. I'm Benjamin Palmer, doctor. And no one can help me. Not even you.
Bah attends, j'ai un traitement contre le rhume.
You don't seem well, Benjamin. Do you need any help?
I always feel ill, sir. It's like I'm never right.
Traitement pour les migraines. Ah non, bah j'en ai pas.
I will see. Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Have you heard anything?
It's funny, I've been searching for her too. I need some pills. But the woman is a phantom, if you ask me.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants.
What can you tell me about this place?
Nothing to say, really. This is where I used to live, and this is where I live now.
You don't have anywhere to go? No family that would welcome you?
Not since the death of my wife, Albert's mother. She was sick, you see. Long before the flu and all this shit.
You mean you used to have a better life?
Yeah, I had a wife, a home, and a job. I even used to have a name. Now I'm just Ben. Ben the Tramp.
Perhaps you could focus for a moment and tell me your troubles.
I'm sick, broke, and my son just stole my pills. Everything's coming up roses.
Whatever the boy did, I'm sure he didn't deserve a public execution.
I swear I didn't want to hit him. It's just that I'm sick in the head, you see, and the boy he just failed me last nerve.
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail, sir. Goodbye for now.
I won't end up another drunk arsehole littering the streets. Not me.
Ah mais je croyais qu'il t'avait buté moi. Et puis l'autre il a disparu. Bon bah on va lui parler.
Are you all right?
The bastard hit the wall next to me. I
Ah,
don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
ah bah j'ai un remède contre
Do
la
you need
fatigue.
assistance?
Please. Feeling tired these days.
There you go. Let's hope nobody steals it from you.
Very funny.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? If you know anything about her, I'd appreciate it.
Never heard of her. She's pretty, I'll keep an eye out.
What happened? Did you really steal that man's medication?
Hey, I didn't do anything, it ain't me.
Medication and drugs are a rare commodity in East London. So you picked an easy target, didn't you?
Sod off, mister. You ain't got no clue what's going on here. Bastard was a soldier in the war, so now he's got the right to shoot me.
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part of town. Perhaps you could help me.
I said sod off. Go find yourself another guide.
Ok, bon moi je l'ai soigné.
I won't end up another drunk arsehole littering the streets. Not me.
J'aimerais bien trouver le refuge. Je sais pas s'il est par là. Il a pas l'air d'être là.
Me? I'll not die in some piss-stinking alley reeking worse than a week.
The Swanborough cordial can be the answer to all
Good evening,
your problems.
Benjamin.
I'm afraid
What is it, Benjamin? It was the war, wasn't it? Your nerves are shot, aren't they? I need some answers, Private. From one soldier to another.
the doctors called me a liar. Coward. Put me in a straitjacket, locked me up. Finally, they sent me back to the front lines with a handful of tablets.
Yes. Sounds like shell shock. I've seen a few cases like yours. This is nothing you should be ashamed of, Benjamin. And it's perfectly natural in your situation.
I'm not ashamed. I just need my pills. Peace and quiet, that's all.
Bon, bah, si j'arrive
A
à
gun,
trouver...
alcohol.
Si j'arrive à lui faire un traitement, je lui ferai.
When science fails you, this elixir will give you life again.
Alors, madame.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Doctor.
Elle pue l'arnaque, la meuf.
My brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Elle est en bonne santé. Ah, c'est une vendeuse, ok.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
Ah bah, je viens de le sauver de Vampyr. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'il y a avant?
See what kind of medicine you're selling.
Ouais, écoute, on va lui acheter ça, on verra ce que ça donne. Bon, en termes d'argent, je suis pas trop mal. Je récupère pas mal de shillings en route quand même. Et tout ça, ouais.
The Swanborough cordial can be the answer to all your
Ok.
problems,
Ensuite.
as long as you have the money. Is no match for the Swanborough cordial.
It's time to see if Miss Christina is still working nearby.
Monsieur, j'aime votre allure.
Good evening, sir. Do you remember
Ah, c'est l'autre connard.
You're here for a reward, you'll be sorely disappointed. But I'll gladly shake the hand of a fellow countryman.
I'm not here for a bounty. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed from the Pembroke.
A doctor? In Whitechapel? What an opportunity. My name's Bates, Cadogan Bates.
Do you require assistance, Mr. Bates?
Not me, but your skills could help a lot of people round here. That would help my business, because I say, a live tenant's a paying tenant.
Traitement pour le rhume. Ça me fait chier. Je vais pas soigner ce connard. Hein. S'il meurt d'un rhume, c'est de sa faute.
What can you tell me about her?
Dorothy Crane, bless her soul. I really should thank her someday.
Has she treated you?
No. When I need a checkup, I'd go to a bloody doctor, not some back alley clinic full of sick foreigners.
It's unusual to see someone so happy around here, especially considering the current situation.
Why should I be sad now? There've always been wars, disease, tragedy. There always will be.
That's an unusual way of seeing things in these trying times.
I don't see why I should shed a tear for another man's woes. I'm healthy, and I intend to stay so.
What is your business, exactly?
I offer fair lodgings for a modest price to the poor and weary of Whitechapel.
I see. And what about those who cannot pay?
Well, deals can be done, if you know what I mean. Money's not the only currency. After all, I'm not immune to a pretty face.
You obviously place yourself above the misery of Whitechapel, but you are as repellent an individual as I have ever met.
Il dit que si le mec a mangé une dizaine de rats, donc c'est pour dire.
Things ain't just black and white, you know.
What help could I possibly be to your business?
That's simple. I already get good money from all those fleeing the war. Can you imagine what they'd be willing to pay if I could offer medical assistance too?
Mr. Bates, do not make me regret saving your life in this quarantine zone.
I understand, Dr. Reed, you're from a good family. Don't want to get your hands dirty. That's fine. I'll be happy to act as your middleman.
I'm no saint, but to take advantage as you do, you are a despicable man who could only prosper in these dark times.
So it's a no then. That's too bad. The Reed tonic could have really helped people, you know, save lives. Isn't that what you do? I mean, people buy that Swamburer's shit.
Tell me, what's your honest opinion of the increasing violence in London?
People are just beginning to discover what we've always known. This city's rotten to the core. They just took their bloody time to wake up and notice it.
What do you mean?
People are acting like the violence is news. But it's always been savage down here. It just bubbles to the surface every now and again.
I want to know everything about the recent violence, Cadogan. And I want the truth.
Well, rent may be a bit high, and yeah, I've had to evict a few people. But that's business, isn't it?
Take this as my final
Je lui chie à la gueule jusqu'à la fin.
You will not profit from the misery of others. Business is one thing, but what you do is quite another.
Really? What you gonna do? You ain't from here. You ain't Whitechapel, Doctor. You wouldn't know the first thing about playing dirty, even if you wanted to.
You seem to have recovered well since your attack. Do you ever think about what happened to you?
Not much. It was a fucking nightmare. Savages, absolute bloody savages. Their appearance. Jesus. Made me want to puke.
You'd better not come back here. I won't be around next time to save you. Goodbye, Mr. B.
Allez, va chier. Du coup, Darius il est là. Juste voir les rues voisines, s'il y a quelque chose. Eux, ils m'ont l'air amicaux. Messieurs.
Welcome, sir. Please take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
So she's trying to help her fellow immigrants. Why would that make her a villain?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Le racisme. Bref.
How is business around here?
Business? I had no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
Joe Peterson. Ok.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
What you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Ok, bon alors qu'est-ce que tu vends mon gars? Des ressorts, petit poignet, fiole de verre, ok, ok. Ok. Bah le river... Attends, le pieu usé, je vais juste lui revendre.
You never... Right then.
Voilà. Toi, t'es qui toi?
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist.
Piss off!
A doctor, you say?
Ah putain, l'accent anglais quoi. Piss off, mate!
But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job?
Bully, c'est un job. Ok.
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Most people don't become thugs when unemployed.
Profession bully.
Choice you made.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Goodbye, Mr.
Ok. Attends.
You know Joe Peterson. He's the villain here, isn't he? But you seem to know each other.
I've known Joe for years. Saw him box once or twice. He was a friend then. But these days, he's just another thug.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer, good one even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
Without making excuses for him, it's safe to say that despair can poison even the sanest mind.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
And no one has ever stood up to this thug.
Nobody would be fool enough to stand against a wet boot boy.
Goodbye for now.
Ok. Alors, est-ce qu'il y a des trucs intéressants dans le coin?
Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about me then? Okay then. Come on in. I'm Harry, by the way. Even my dreams are
C'est le fils de qui, lui? Ah, des Peterson. Ok. Bon, bah, je vais piller ta maison. Avant de lui parler. C'est une tradition d'un autre pays. Tu comprendras pas et tu te tais. Tac.
It's locked.
Merde. Lettre de refus. Cher Monsieur Peterson, il est de mon devoir de vous informer que votre candidature pour un poste au doc a été refusée. Je tiens à vous remercier d'avoir pris le temps de nous rendre visite pour nous expliquer les difficultés de votre situation. Entre la perte de votre femme et votre fils malade, mais je dois m'en tenir aux règles de notre entreprise qui interdit formellement d'employer d'anciens détenus ou criminels. Vos liens malencontreux avec les tristement célèbres Wet Boot Boys nous ont été rapportés. Les temps sont durs, comme vous le savez, et Finch et Harper comptent bien d'abord récompensé par un emploi les candidats dont la réputation est sans tâche. Okay. La fameuse lettre du « Ah, c'est gentil d'avoir pensé à nous, mais va chier, on va pas te donner un boulot. » Allez, petit, raconte-moi ta vie, tes malheurs, tes souffrances.
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Il faut quoi? Ah merde, un traitement pour la fatigue. Ah, dommage. Bah, dès que je peux en faire un, je vais lui donner, il a l'air gentil.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
Alors je peux le manger aussi, mais non, il a l'air tout gentil. Alors.
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough like... Well, you know.
Speaking of which, what can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
Putain, ça c'est la phrase à la con quoi. Ah, au moins t'as un toit sur la tête. Ah, je me sens mal pour le père. Hein.
I'm sure your father did his best when he found this house. Times are tough for everyone, young man.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
Ouais, vu son état.
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reed. It's the living I'm afraid of.
Putain, mec, t'es pas né à la bonne époque. Hein. Tu serais né à notre époque, mais on t'aurait on t'aurait mis un petit PC, et puis alors là, c'est bon, il peut vivre en ermite tranquille. Hein. Wrong time, dude. Wrong time.
Your father and Mr. Lewis used to be good friends. What happened, Harry?
I was young then. I don't remember Mr. Lewis ever coming back again after my mother died. Or was it after my father started bullying him? I don't know.
Have you tried speaking to Mr. Lewis about it?
I don't go out often, but yes. And he scolded me and told me to leave him alone. I guess my father frightens him too much.
But you are not responsible for your father's actions.
Am I not? Dad always says that he joined that gang for my safety. So if I wasn't born, people wouldn't be worrying about Colossus Joe.
Would it ease tensions with your father if he got an honest job? Because he tried, you know.
Can't say. I'd be glad if he dropped his thuggish activities. But I'm not sure it would be enough.
Why is that?
Sometimes I suspect it's me, Dr. Reed. Or it's this life. It's like I can't find my place.
Goodbye, young man.
Ah, dur, dur, gamin, dur.
Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
Oula. Ouh, un rat.
This is despicable.
Il me semble avoir vu un prêtre sur... Enfin, ce que je pense est un prêtre.
There is no protection against malevolence and trickery. You are blinded by your false faith, imprisoned by your daily routine.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Qu'est-ce que... J'adore ce genre d'habit de prêtre comme ça, c'est tellement stylé. Du coup, tu vas bien, grand-père? Il va bien, c'est déjà ça.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fibre.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
Ouh là 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 là!
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost?
Dodo est une coco.
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
Well, you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition. What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences. And most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science.
Well, you are...
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Continue.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Ah oui, d'accord, bon.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the
Je
cleansing?
pense que ses ancêtres étaient fans du feu éternel.
More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences. And most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know?
Well, you...
Ah merde.
Well, what do you mean? I have heard enough.
Bon, grand-père. On va le laisser dans son délire. Je vais juste aller voir le jardin de ce que je pense être l'église. Il y a peut-être des trucs. Puis après on ira voir Darius. Allez, amène-toi. Putain, ils sont trois. Ça c'est un peu bullshit, hein, parce qu'il était super loin de moi. Non bah j'ai fait esquiver, tu te fous de ma gueule? Un de moins. Il n'y a pas l'air d'y avoir grand chose. Je vais dire c'est qui se con. Ah, je pense que c'est l'autre prêtre. Bon, on peut pas me le mettre. Oh, c'est du shilling. Ah merde, c'était pas les shillings. Bon, on va parler à mon père.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
Monsieur parle français. Traitement contre le rhume. Eh ben, allez.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much. And that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Okay.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the added hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
Il n'a pas peur, hein?
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Non.
My mother loved poetry. Perhaps your words would have touched her sensitive nature. I only see a dreadful disease.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear Doctor.
Alors j'étais sur le point de lui donner un remède, mais il me prend pour acquis. Donc non. Tu te démerdes. Allez, on va aller voir Darius pour la peine. Oh le mec. Joe, il y avait un truc.
Harry doesn't seem happy living in Whitechapel. Why did you make him come here?
I've always put my son's interests above everything else, whatever he may think. Our house is small but affordable. The walls are thin, but the door is solid.
You really love your son, don't you, Mr. Peterson?
He's my pride and joy. Even if he hates me for the choices I make and pushes me buttons more than he should.
Do you have any regrets?
Only one. Not to have my beloved wife by my side. She died when Harry was little. My sweet Jane. She gave the boy confidence.
Since the criminal nature of your job means you could be arrested, are you not afraid of what would happen to your boy if you were?
No one will ever take my son away from me. If that ever occurred, I'd hunt the bastard down and rip off his head with my bare hands.
Why do you keep on working for the gang, Joe? You know it doesn't suit you.
It's true, I hate this job. And I know I made some bad choices, but I'm a wet boot boy now. People won't forget it.
You could leave tomorrow. Start another life in another town.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. We are poor. My son's weak. And there's no way he'll endure another disappointment.
Bon bah continue à être une botte mouillée, un garçon des bottes mouillées. Madame.
Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick, though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Très bien. Traitement pour la fatigue. Hein. C'est pas pour la gorge. Bref.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crasionescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London. could be exposed, or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly. But it is not your concern, Doctor.
Ok.
Goodbye, miss.
Good luck. Putain, mais il y a trop de gens dans le jeu. Bouquet de fleurs. Un petit bouquet de fleurs dans lequel est caché un bon pour un examen gratuit. Ah, attends, c'est peut-être elle, Camélia.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Ah, oui, c'est
I
elle.
know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly. I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it?
Tu peux cligner une fois pour oui, deux fois pour non. Elle est en bonne santé. 5000 points d'XP, putain.
Tell me about Richard Nethercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia. Camellia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary. A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever. Very well.
J'ai appris énormément de choses. Merci. Du coup, il y avait un type là-bas. Ah oui, lui.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Eh bien, donc. Hop.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
C'est débile. Justement, c'est la guerre, donc autant...
Do you need assistance?
Merde.
That'd be nice of you,
Ah non, j'en ai pas. C'est honteux. Oh. C'est peut-être. J'ai pas envie de dire que c'est logique. C'est pas non plus un crime, mais ouais, bon, c'est honteux.
It's a disgrace. People are left to die alone. No one is properly informed of the risks.
These are bad times indeed. So much for the glorious British Empire.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I'm convinced there is more at work here than a simple epidemic.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of. My God, what happened to them?
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Christina Popper claims she sells her body because she can't find any other work. Do you believe her?
Of course I do. Her story is exactly what I want my readers to understand. We live in an intolerant and divided nation.
Do you think things will ever change, Mr. Darby?
I believe the situation can only improve. And now that women can vote, I'm convinced things will change.
Bon bah bon courage.
Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
Je regarde juste vers la rue s'il n'y a pas des poubelles, s'il n'y a pas des... Un ressort. Bon.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
Attends, il va falloir que j'aille de l'autre côté.
Strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be from Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nithercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
I cannot enter. I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Perso, j'ai plus envie de parler aux journalistes.
Even the flu is no match for the Swanborough cordial.
Par contre, alors attends, j'entends que j'ai un boîte de chapelle. Marchand, refuge, apparemment il y en a un droit devant. J'aimerais bien le trouver. Bon, apparemment, il y a eu un petit massacre ici. Ah, bah c'est mon refuge. Super. Allez, hop. J'ai combien? 945. Ok, hop. Alors, établi. Tout recycler. Morceau de poignée commun, c'est ça qu'il faut que je trouve. Ça... Ah, je peux l'améliorer, super. Alors, diminue la consommation d'endurance de 10%. Absorbe des points de sang lorsque... Je préfère diminuer l'endurance. Petit morceau de poignée de qualité et tige de plomb. Ok. Non, pas ça. Voilà. Personnage, inventaire. Où est-ce que c'est les... Ah voilà. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'il me faut comme remède? J'ai pas encore... Il me manque 2 personnes. Ok. Alors, lui j'ai envie de le soigner, pourquoi pas. Alors, 2 fatigues, 3 fatigues. Lui il peut crever. Lui c'est le poète, lui on verra. Darius, lui je pense que ça peut être important de le soigner. Donc j'ai dit 3 fatigues, une bronchite. Palmer, je vois pas du tout qui c'est. Donc 3 fatigues et une bronchite. Ah, je peux pas faire la bronchite. Dommage. Rhume, bronchite. Le poète, bof. La migraine, je crois que la migraine j'en avais déjà. Mais c'est qui ça? Palmer. Ah oui, si, c'est le gars, on avait cru qu'il avait tué un... Oui, on avait cru qu'il avait tué un gars, puis en fait non. Ok. Donc, le journaliste, la prostituée et le gamin. Allez hop. en XP. Enfin, en truc d'expérience. La charge. Est-ce qu'il y a un truc que je peux améliorer? La lance, peut-être. Oula, non, ça coûte 2000. Autophagie. Putain, 1300, t'es sérieux? Ah, j'ai débloqué une ulti. Ouais, mais ça va coûter cher. Ouais, 1000. Niveau 2, niveau 3, morsure. 150% de dégâts en plus. Ouais, écoute. Voilà. Et le jeu a crash. Super. C'est pas grave. J'espère que ça m'a pas sauvegardé. Non, ça a l'air bon. Du coup, commencer à Whitechapel. Ok. Bon, il n'y a pas l'air d'avoir de gros changements. Ah! Ah, mais barre-toi, putain! Voilà. Parce que si j'accepte des monstres comme ça dans ma planque, ça ira pas. Donc il faut que... Bon bah le gamin, il bouge pas de la journée, donc il est dans la maison et... Il faudra que je trouve la prostituée et le journaliste. Ouh là là. merde, pourquoi je suis sorti par là? Hop. Bon, je vais sortir de l'autre côté. Alors, le gamin.
Good evening, Harry. May I come in?
Sure.
Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
So,
I'm not bothered.
Do you need any
Yes, I did.
You'll feel better with this. But you need to get a grip, young man. Medication alone won't cure melancholia.
I'm not sure I'm happy with the idea of living long in a world like this. But I thank you for your concern, sir.
Goodbye, young man.
Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
Oh là là, putain. Il est gentil, mais sans déconner.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you need...
That would be nice of you, Doctor.
If you persist in investigating the most pox-ridden boroughs of London, you must accept the risks.
Thank you, sir.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm a doctor, Mr. Darby. I care about everything involving public health at this epidemic.
Are you sure you're not just concerned about the repercussions that a scandal involving a certain Nurse Crane from the Pembroke Hospital would bring?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious, never goes out, doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He has no relatives at all?
No, except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Il t'a eu?
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
J'aimerais bien trouver la... Ah bah tiens.
Good evening, Chris.
Change your...
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else you have never suffered from?
Do you need any assistance?
It depends.
I am shocked that you would think I am that sort of man.
Forgive my suspicion. I'm so used to liars with good manners. Thank you, sir.
Goodbye.
Voilà. Du coup, le poète. Elle est là. Mes chers enfants bien-aimés, je m'en veux tellement de ne pas vous avoir donné de mes nouvelles durant ces derniers mois. La situation ici à Londres a été des plus difficiles. Je sais que cela peut paraître égoïste de ma part et même absurde à l'heure où vous, mes enfants, vivez toujours dans un pays consumé par la guerre, mais une guerre fait aussi rage ici même, en Angleterre. Une guerre contre la pauvreté et contre l'injustice. C'est une guerre que je compte mener malgré mon âge avancé. C'est pour cette raison que je vous écris aujourd'hui. Je ne reviendrai pas en Roumanie. Cela veut sans doute dire que je ne vous reverrai pas avant de mourir. Ne soyez pas tristes, mes chéris, vous êtes des adultes maintenant et vous avez vos propres enfants sur qui veiller. Vous savez à quel sacrifice nous devons parfois consentir pour rendre le monde meilleur. Je dois me résoudre à celui-ci pour pouvoir me sentir utile une dernière fois. Je vous souhaite une longue et heureuse vie, embrassez mes petits-enfants de ma part, et souvenez-vous que votre père vous aime même depuis ce lointain et froid pays.
The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter.
You are blinded by your false faith.
Non, à chaque fois je me trompe. Darius, il lui fallait quoi, lui, comme... Ah oui, la bronchite. Et je ne peux pas créer pour le moment. Et merde.
Good evening.
And good evening to you too, Mike.
Did you know the mute florist is a member of a secret society?
No, I didn't. But I thank you for this information, sir. For it only enriches the mystery surrounding the precious camellia.
Are you not curious? Is there not more you wish to know?
That girl has not an ounce of malice in her. Whatever she may be hiding, it's certain to be for the benefit of most, if not all.
I fear you are a hopeless romantic, Mr. Nethercott.
Guilty as charged, Dr. Reed.
Do you need medical attention?
It may be what...
I understand your appetite for words and macabre beauty, sir. But you should be more careful.
The nutrition of my mind is more important than my physical health. But I appreciate your concern, sir.
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
I'll leave you alone.
Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
Eh ben allez, on y va. Je sais plus si je suis allé dans cette rue ou non.
Step away, sir.
It's a lady!
Salaud. Oula, ouais, je me barre. Ah putain. Ouais, je me barre. Ah, je peux pas me barrer, forcément. Bon, ça va, il est niveau 10. Et c'est tout, il n'y a rien d'autre. Ah mais si en fait c'était par là. Bon bah tant pis.
Can't you just look the other way this week, Joe? Come on, we can sort it out, right? It's not my fault. Distribute flowers at this time of night.
Mr. Petrescu, just 1 minute, please.
You again. Go away.
Sir, wait. Stop this nonsense. I know Nurse Crane is here. Shall we speak man to man, you and I?
All right. Speak up.
Don't you see we're on the same side? We fight to help the poor, sick, and abandoned.
I'm nothing like you, Mr. Doctor.
Yes, you are. You too believe in providing medical care without charge. You know what we have to sacrifice to make the world a better place.
I have to admit your words have conviction. All right, I'll let you see Dorothea. Don't make me regret this, though.
It's locked.
Merde. Ça aussi. Ah non. Je vais tout lui piquer.
If you want to talk to Dorothea, you must go across the courtyard and take the stairs.
We've not been formally introduced. May I ask your name and occupation, sir?
I am Darius Petrescu. I'm here to keep snitches and spies away from Dorothea. And I also run this little print shop.
So Dorothy's real name is not Crane?
Like myself and many people in this area, Dorothea is from occupied Romania. That's all you need to know.
She seems important to the community.
More than you can imagine. The West End does not want to hear of Whitechapel's misery. Dorothea is one of the few doing something about it.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
Are you not worried for her safety?
She is as brave as she is tough, and clever too. If only I had met her when I was younger.
Are you in love with Camellia, Mr. Petrescu?
Don't be stupid. If I had met her when I was younger, we could have won our revolution.
Who is she, really? Do you know where she's from?
She's not from around here, that's all we know. Camellia is not even her name. It's her favorite flower.
You say she has no close family?
Well, there's that awful poet who constantly follows her around like a lost puppy. A good man for sure, but a very poor writer.
Ah oui, lui c'était un bon shit.
Tell me everything. Do you have any family left, Mr. Petrescu? Children or grandchildren?
Who knows? I have abandoned my people for so long, they might as well be dead. As dead as I am for them, I suppose.
Don't be embarrassed, sir. If you must know, my own father disappeared many years ago, and I forgave him.
It's quite awkward to talk about our families like this, but thank you, Dr. Reed. I appreciate your trust.
This war won't last forever. Did you ever think of returning to your country now it's free?
No. I have taught strength and determination to my sons and daughters. I'm an old, dying man who only has memories of better times to cherish.
How did you meet Nurse Crane, Darius? Why does she trust you?
I'm her oldest friend in England. Dorothea and I share many ideas about this country and about the country we left.
You mean occupied Romania, don't you? Even if not directly, I fought against your enemies.
Really? Then perhaps you have more in common with Dorothea than meets the eye, Dr. Reed.
I know you fought for your country when it was occupied, Darius. Tell me more about it.
I know my days are numbered, and I know I won't see my homeland again. But I fought for Romania all my life, and I will until my last breath.
But Romania escaped the grasp of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's a free country again.
But it's not the country I fought for. My homeland is not appeased, Doctor. And I still see a dark future ahead for my people.
Goodbye.
Hop, ça sera déverrouillé. Et salut Rimsad. Comment ça va? Alors, le dispensaire. Avant de parler à Dorothy, on va tout piller. Du shilling. Bon, ça va, ça va. Je continue tranquillement Vampyr. Je passe plus de temps à explorer, à parler aux gens qu'à avancer le scénario, mais bon. Et la neige commence à grave tomber chez moi. Lettre pour Nerskane. Ma chère Dorothea, lorsque tu liras cette lettre, je serai déjà sur le bateau qui va nous ramener, Anton et moi, à Porresvo. L'Angleterre n'était pas faite pour nous, et je dois avouer que j'ai hâte de revoir nos fières collines de Transylvanie. Je te promets que dès que nous arriverons, j'irai allumer un cierge dans l'église noire et je prierai pour que tu survives à cette terrible épidémie. Je sais que tu n'es pas d'accord avec cette décision et que tu penses te rendre plus utile en restant aider nos camarades exilés dans l'East End. Mais Anton a tellement hâte de retourner dans notre cher pays et de voir notre révolution tant attendue prendre son envol. C'est mon mari et je dois rester à ses côtés. Je sais qu'il nous arrive de nous disputer, je sais que tu aurais voulu que je reste à tes côtés, que je t'aide à t'occuper de ta clinique, mais maintenant que je quitte l'Angleterre, je veux que tu saches une chose. S'il t'arrive quoi que ce soit, que tu as des problèmes ou bien que tu es en danger, je reviendrai immédiatement à Londres, avec ou sans Anton. Pense à moi au point que je pense à toi, ta sœur aimante, Théodora. Non. Ouais, 2 secondes. Ah merde.
What do we have here, nurse?
Patient Raz Van Vasily, high fever running on 3 days. Complaints of dizziness, muscle aches, and head pain, diagnosed with influenza.
Treatment?
Aspirin and salicin for the fever and discomfort. Liquids for dehydration, but he's having trouble keeping even water down.
Thank you, nurse. Anything else I should know?
He did lose consciousness this morning, but he's never had convulsions like these.
He's not convulsing, he's choking. He's not getting any air. Scalpel! Hand me that scalpel!
What can I do, Doctor?
Ah.
I need to perform a tracheostomy. Short pipe. That rubber tube will do. We're going to cut a passage for air through the neck.
Yes, Doctor.
Ah putain, il doit douiller sa race.
Internal hemorrhaging. I need to make another incision into the chest cavity to drain the fluids from the lung. Prepare another tube.
A thoracostomy. Doctor, we've nothing to fight the infection. We need an aseptic environment.
Right then, Nurse Crane. What do you suggest we do?
I've no idea. I'm not the doctor.
Time is of the essence. We need to perform a thoracic drain.
Yes, Doctor. He's still bleeding, Doctor. I'm losing his pulse.
The drain must have punctured the intercostal artery. There's too much blood.
Are you all right, Doctor?
I can't see. Yes. Yes. I have this, nurse. Allow me to finish the procedure alone. I need the room.
I'd prefer to stay and see this through. This is my patient, Doctor. I have needle and thread for stitching the wound.
Good. The stitches are holding. How's he doing?
We're losing him. We've lost his pulse. He's dying, Doctor.
Cardiac massage, now.
Cardiac... What? Are you making this up as you go along?
Oui. Je suis pas un vrai médecin.
We've lost the pulse. He's gone, Doctor.
Nurse, we did everything we could.
Truly? Everything you could. Is that how you'll report this in your log? Is this how the war went? Piling up one poor corpse beside the next?
This was not.
Alors, est-ce que tu pouvais le sauver ou c'est inévitable?
I've never seen symptoms like these on the continent.
Neither have I. But the previous symptoms leading up to this attack were the same, indistinguishable from the epidemic.
No. There was something more vile in these reactions. Something primitive.
There have been numerous reports of mental breakdowns caused by the fever that accompanies the flu itself, Doctor.
Yes, but... I'd best take some samples of the blood for analysis.
I doubt you're here to test my bedside manners.
Tant pis.
It's locked, all right.
Hop.
I suspect it was more than intuition alone that led you to us. So, how might I be of service, Dr. Reed?
Your heart might be in the right place, but you can't carry on with this blackmail. For God's sake, Dorothy, it's extortion. It's a serious crime.
Doctor, you think your warnings scare me? I've stolen and plied, blackmailed and lied, but what else am I to do? I'm all these people have.
But why Lady Ashbury? Why her, of all people?
She's pristine and proper, all right. But that she-wolf in sheep's clothing murders the poor for sport. I have her where she belongs, and I'll milk her for all she's got.
Ok, ça c'est clair.
Dr. Swansea is a sensible and honest man. He wouldn't have refused your friend's care at Pembroke.
It's easy for you to say, Doctor. These people cannot go to the police, nor to the hospital. They don't even speak English. They depend on me for everything.
Jonathan pour sauver le Gus. Like a job in here, you need some time to turn around yourself. Non mais enfin je sais pas si je pouvais vraiment le sauver ou était inévitable. Parce que alors moi je réponds, je suis pas médecin, j'y connais rien. Enfin
So,
bref.
the end justifies the means. Is that your defense?
I know you're kind, Doctor. Just another fine-heeled, silver-spooned gentleman who was given the world on a platter. You know nothing of poverty, nothing of the shame, the hunger, the loneliness.
You've convinced me of the sincerity of your actions and their noble justifications. But all the same, blackmail is a crime, and it will stop, Nurse Crane.
So, are you going to turn me over to the authorities?
Alors... étreindre. Alors, donc, je vais pas la boulotter. J'ai dit que je ne bouletterai personne. Donc, soit je lui dis, je ferme les yeux, mais elle dégage de l'hôpital. Soit je la charme. Donc, c'est... En gros, elle va rester à l'hôpital, mais... par le pouvoir de la magie, je lui dis d'arrêter tout ça. Parce que ce qu'elle fait, oui, c'est un crime, mais c'est pour aider des gens dans le besoin. Comme il a dit, ses intentions sont nobles, mais l'action en elle-même l'est moins. Les choix à la con. À la limite, je préfère qu'elle soigne les pauvres, mais qu'elle dégage de l'hôpital. Parce que si elle est plus là, ça va foutre la merde. Bah, je vais l'épargner.
No. Your place is here. Jailing you would be an even greater crime. So, here is my proposition. I'll look the other way on your little enterprise. In exchange, you will resign from the Pembroke Hospital and provide me with medical supplies when the need arises.
Dr. Reed! That sounds like a business proposition. My accomplice, then?
No, just a privileged client. My research may require the occasional rare piece of equipment or ingredient. I'll pay good coin in exchange, fair and honest, to help finance your noble endeavors.
We have ourselves a deal, Doctor.
Non, ça va, ça me satisfait.
Good customers are always welcome.
Yes, Nurse Crane. We have a deal.
Je suis satisfait. Les nouveaux citoyens peuvent être tués, mais non.
It's locked.
Bon. Eh ben, je dois retourner à l'hôpital.
This one stinks already.
Ah, par contre, je suis grave dans la merde. Putain, ils sont tous tués. Parce que j'ai entendu un cri de bébé, mais... Je vois pas de bébé mort, tant mieux. Je sais pas quels sont si on poseront sur là où les fins, c'est cool de voir quoi. Ouais non bah ça reste un jeu d'ante-note, hein, donc eux c'est les rois des jeux avec les choix à faire. Mais... Merde. Et bah on y va. Hop là. Allez hop. Voilà là. Mais en fait apparemment quand par exemple si je l'aurais mangé elle, ça me rend plus puissant en fait. Mais j'ai l'impression que ce choix c'est un peu comme dans BioShock. Quand tu choisis de soit tuer ou d'épargner les petites sœurs. Donc est-ce que quand tu tues vraiment personne avec ce choix là, ça te donne la bonne fin? On verra.
Hello, Mr. Petrescu.
Hello, Doctor.
Ça on l'a déjà fait. Ça on l'a déjà fait. Je peux toujours pas le soigner. Oh, les shillings. J'aime le shilling. Toi, tu peux aller te faire foutre. Par contre, où est mon refuge? Il est là-bas. Non, c'est pas par là. Ah oui, voilà, c'est par là. Alors, l'établi. Alors déjà dans... tac, tac, tac. À l'hôpital. Ce que je vais aller là-bas. Donc fatigue. 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 Et mal de tête. Mais mal de tête, je crois que j'ai encore rien. Donc du coup, il me faut 7 fatigues. Et un mal de tête. Ouais, mal de tête, j'ai pas. Je peux faire contre la bronchite. Ah bah je pourrais le donner au vieux au pire. Un pour le rhume. Ensuite ça. Voilà. Ensuite, est-ce que je peux améliorer Mon arme, non. Celle-là, non. Et ça, non plus. Ok, tout ça c'est bon. Donc j'ai 1500 points d'XP. Bah à la rigueur, l'ulti ça coûte combien? Ça coûte 1000, bah parfait. Alors vous perdez le contrôle et laissez la bête en vous se déchaîner temporairement. La bête fond sur tous les ennemis autour de vous. Elle inflige une puissante attaque. Vous créez un tourbillon de ténèbres au pied de votre cible. Les ombres prennent vie pour interrompre un ennemi dans la zone et lui infliger de sérieux dégâts. Concentrez votre puissance pour faire bouillir le sang de la cible, le faisant violemment exploser et infligeant des dégâts à la cible et tout ce qui se trouve autour d'elle. Ah, les trois ils sont tentants. Hein. Enfin, peut-être plus la dernière et la première. Ça, c'est un 400, 100. Ça, c'est du dégât pur. Par contre, le 400, c'est ce que ça me coûte. Non, bah non, c'est ce que ça m'inflige. Dégâts de 130 et ça de 100. Je pense que le chaudron, ça peut être marrant. Allez. Le prochain, c'est 2000. De toute façon, je suis pas encore niveau 14. Ensuite... 600, j'ai pas assez, peut-être améliorer la santé du coup. Ah, c'est 600, merde. Capacité sanguine, lorsque vous utilisez morsure au combat. Les sérums, on s'en fout un peu. Ça, je sais même pas pourquoi je l'ai pris, j'utilise même pas. Ça, pareil. La lame, c'est 2000 aussi. Bon, bah écoute, on va laisser ça. Olivier Giroud. J'avoue. Oula. Raid de police à venir à Whitechapel. Ces derniers temps, les rumeurs entourant Whitechapel deviennent une triste réalité. Depuis 3 mois, la police soupçonne le quartier d'être le centre névralgique du marché noir médical de Londres. Cependant, ces soupçons restent de simples suppositions. Les maigres forces de police envoyées à Whitechapel n'ont ni arrêté les criminels à la tête de ces trafics, ni trouvé les stocks de médicaments illicites qu'ils cachent. Cette mascarade n'avait donc qu'un but, tenter de camoufler l'incompétence notoire de la commission de santé du conseil du comité de Londres. En donnant à la population un semblant de victoire alors que l'épidémie de grippe ne fait que s'étendre de jour en jour. Pour ne rien arranger, en prenant le temps d'étudier les derniers chiffres et statistiques, on peut voir que Whitechapel supporte cette épidémie bien mieux que la plupart des autres quartiers de la ville. Est-ce un miracle, ou bien la preuve de l'efficacité d'une possible activité médecine illégale? Ou encore n'est-ce que la démonstration de l'incompétence criminelle des autorités? De ce que je sais, c'est que si un simple londonien a plus de chances de survivre à l'épidémie en choisissant de vivre dans ce quartier misérable, alors je suis prêt à emménager immédiatement dans le premier trou à rat qu'un propriétaire véreux acceptera de me louer. Ok. Votre choix... Ah oui d'accord, donc c'est, je pense, en fonction de mon choix. Ah, donc si par exemple je l'avais tué, ça aurait fait autre chose. Ok. Du coup, ça c'est bon. Alors lui je voulais pas le guérir. Bronchite. Bon, on ira voir le vieux, on lui donnera un truc. Palmer si on le croise, oui. Là, je connais pas ce quartier. Ah, je suis passé. Ouais, mais là, de toute façon, je vais y aller, je vais donner à tout le monde. Et là, on est toujours à 83, et pareil, je ne connais pas ces gens. Donc du coup, on repart avec Olivier Giroud. Après avoir été recalé de Manchester. Alors que la neige a arrêté de tomber, apparemment. Alors. Juste essayer de me souvenir de la route pour aller chez le vieux. Ah tiens, Palmer. Ah, j'ai rien contre les migraines. Non, bah rien. Voilà. Par où je dois aller? Donc il y a lui, et je crois que la maison du vieux, elle est là. Bon, ça va.
Hello. Hello.
Yes?
Do you need some help?
I am very tough.
Well, I think you do. Take this, and you'll feel better.
Free drugs from an English doctor. It must be my lucky day.
Goodbye, Mr.
Voilà. Ah ouais, ça donne 50 d'XP de soigner quelqu'un, ouais. Je remarque ça que maintenant. Ah ouais, donc c'est pas négligeable. Oh, bah alors là, je vais m'en faire de l'XP, hein, parce qu'avec tous les trucs de fatigue que je dois donner à l'hôpital Pembroke. Bon, on va bien rencontrer des chasseurs dans le coin.
Human blood. Whoever left these marks did so deliberately.
Putain. Arrêtez de me faire peur comme ça. Ah bah alors attends, tiens. Ah ouais, pas mal. Ah, mon endurance. Ah, je peux peut-être utiliser les escaliers à mon avantage. Aïe. Allez, un de moins. Deux de moins. Je vais m'occuper du frère lanceur là en premier. Ah, salaud. Allez, en plus c'est bon. Ah, il est keblo. Ah, t'es bloqué mon con. Je me disais aussi, il est où le... Allez, tiens, mange. Merde. Ah, putain, chier. On va peut-être m'occuper du boss, du coup. Allez, plus que ces deux cons. Ah, j'avoue, il s'est libéré de son bug. Mais ça m'arrange parce que c'était pas le meilleur endroit pour être bugué. Ok, sympa l'embuscade. Non, ils sautent pas. Ils ont pas de loot par contre. Pas de loot. Merde. Attends, ça me disait que je pouvais rentrer là. Merci pour le chichi. Mais ça va, là le combat je l'ai bien géré. Parce que alors au début du stream, fallait que je reprenne le coup de main. Hein. Allez, on fonce. Ok, alors. Qui veut un traitement? J'ai des traitements. Allez, monsieur.
Good evening, Mr.
Good evening, Doctor.
J'ai rien d'autre à te dire.
Is there anything else?
Really?
Unfortunately, you are not the only person who needs help. And complaining about it won't do you any good.
Well, perhaps you're right, Dr. Reed. I'm sure if me missus was still alive, she wouldn't be happy with me going on like this.
Goodbye for now, Mr.
25. Ah, c'est tout. La mer.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you require medical attention as well, Mrs. Goswick?
Do you know you're the only one who's asked me?
Despite what you think about this place, I can tell you with absolute certainty, taking this will help you recover.
Well, at least your reputation seems well deserved. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for this hospital.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswin.
Ah, j'ai eu le succès serment d'Hippocrate. Là-bas, il y a le docteur Rashadana. Toi.
I'm quite busy right now.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Autant au début, lui, il me chie un peu à la gueule, mais je commence à être un peu de son côté. Surtout après avoir parlé à l'autre docteur.
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
If you are going to lead this surgery, I'm trusting you to assume the consequences of your actions,
voilà.
Whatever the result.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from his responsibilities, Dr. Reed. There is no need for you to be looking over my shoulder.
Ok. Allez, tiens.
You need my...
Don't be ridiculous.
Then you are lucky that I have taken the time to do so.
I wish this hospital could have received...
Bon, je passe les dialogues, hein, parce que c'est pas non plus... rhume, est-ce que j'ai un truc pour le rhume pour toi?
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening.
Même si je sais pas trop si tu le mérites. Allez, tiens.
Do you need medical help?
I'm afraid.
Not under my watch, nurse.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Elwood, elle est en bonne santé. Ah, ah merde, on pourra pas parler à la vieille, elle est en bonne santé.
Good evening, Mr.
Evening.
Soldier.
Not really.
As long as you remain...
Don't think you...
Goodbye for now, Mr.
Elwood. Lui il est bon, lui il est bon. Alors je crois que les autres étaient derrière. Non, ils sont pas par là. Ah, je suis déjà à 1290 en XP.
I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you married.
It's locked, all right.
Bon, on peut pas lui parler. Il reste qui?
I will not let you down, my boy.
Il y avait d'autres personnes, il me semble, qui avaient besoin de... Ah oui. Milton.
Good evening.
Good evening, Doc.
I'd like...
Wise choice.
Tu vends quoi déjà, toi? Morceau de poignée commun, je peux en avoir besoin. Non, ça peut-être pas. Ça peut-être. Tout le reste, je le trouve assez facilement. Maître accusé. Le jean. Oh, ça vaut que 4 pages. préfère encore le recycler.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening.
Do you need any... Our job brings us...
That's easy.
Goodbye, Milton.
Less resignation and more determination.
Lui va bien, elle.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Je regarde aussi si j'ai pas des dialogues à faire, vite fait. Non.
Goodbye.
Non, ah merde.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening.
Do you require...
I will be.
Nurse.
I'll try.
Goodbye, nurse.
Voilà. Ensuite. Oswald Thatcher, migraine. Ah, il y a un inconnu en bas. Ah, bah tiens. On va aller leur parler. Morceau de poignet. Si tu l'achètes à une cuisse en bonus. Et après, tu peux jouer à refaire tout le corps humain. Monsieur, vous êtes qui?
Good evening, sir. I am Dr. Jonathan Reed of the Pembroke Hospital. May I be of assistance?
Dr. Reed. So it's you who saved my friend Oswald. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
And you are?
Newton Blight. Oswald and I recently returned from the war.
Traitement pour le rhume. Ah, désolé.
Why do you stay here now that Mr. Thatcher's back?
It's complicated. Since the war, Oswald's been really nervous with the idea of entering any hospital. And me, I've got my own issues.
Can you speak about them?
Rats, sir. Even seeing one, they turn me. Just want to run. It's that fear that stopped me from going after Oswald when he left.
Ah bah t'inquiète, moi les rats je les mange.
You are always welcome at the
Je sais pas si c'est rassurant, mais...
As a former officer, I'll be honored to welcome a fellow veteran.
I'm not giving up on bringing Oswald back to the hospital. I just need to convince him that he needs some help.
Perhaps he needs to reach that decision by himself.
Could you speak to him? He doesn't usually listen to doctors, but perhaps because you've been through it, you can talk him round.
What can you tell me about the war, Mr. Blight? If you want to speak about it, of course.
War was... Well, you know, sir. The stench of death everywhere. Your mates lying bleeding in the mud. Just praying to make it through and get home. Bloody nightmare.
Did you know Oswald Thatcher before the war?
No. We met in the battlefield. I think we're in the same boat to France. We've stuck together ever since.
I fought in France, too. I served as a field surgeon, but it was not uncommon to repel an assault, especially at night.
Yeah. The first time I was wounded, I had to protect the infirmary from hostiles. Twice.
What caused your phobia of rats, Newton?
It happened last year following an artillery attack. I was trapped for 2 days in a hole under 2 dead soldiers. And there were rats.
Go on.
They started eating me as soon as I dozed. Gnawing at my ears, my fingers, lips. Couldn't move. Couldn't call for help.
I see.
No, you don't. You have no idea what it is to wake up buried under bodies. Fucking vermin eating your flesh. Oswald. He found me and saved me.
Ah, chaud. Bon, on va pas pousser plus loin. Oswald, il est où ce con? Ah, ouvre-moi! Non. Alors attends, avant de parler à Lady Ashburg, est-ce qu'il y a encore des gens? Récupération. Lui, je pouvais pas lui parler. Migraine. Je sais même pas si j'en avais. Non, bah je crois que j'ai soigné tout le monde. J'aurais bien aimé retrouver Oswald, mais je ne sais pas où il est. Parce que là c'est Cleckox. Ah, il est là, mais je crois qu'il est derrière. Ouais, bon, tant pis pour lui. Faut rentrer dans la tente. Voilà. Ah. Bon appétit.
I would ask you to avert your eyes, sir. Or did you not know it was rude to stare?
I knew it.
Speak up, Dr. Reed. I like a man who speaks his mind.
Eh ben, j'ai bien fait de pas tuer docteur, enfin l'infirmière. Hein.
You killed him. He trusted you. And you killed him.
Spare me your sarcasm, Jonathan. You are but newly born in this world.
So in the end, the accusation was true, wasn't it?
The situation is somewhat awkward nonetheless. I have not been observed sustaining myself for many decades. I have to say I'm a trifle embarrassed.
Anyway, I have concluded my inquiries concerning your blackmailer.
I see. Please excuse my agitated state. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't let anyone see me in this condition.
I must confess I have not put an end to the blackmail, my lady. Unfortunately, I could not bring myself to do it.
I'm so disappointed in you, Jonathan. I didn't expect this from you.
Lady Ashbury, you yourself admitted how ridiculous the sum of money was. I can assure you it was all used for charitable ends.
Well, you were full of surprises, aren't you, Jonathan? All right, say I trust you, but you will still pay the ransom. That is only fair. After all, it was you who failed to bring this problem to a satisfactory conclusion.
I believe I could agree to that.
And since a lady always keeps her promises, I will now answer any questions you may have.
D'accord. Alors, ta viande, tu la préfères saignante, bleue, cuit? Tu suis un régime strict? Oh, allez, j'ai le temps pour l'interrogatoire.
Why did you save me in the canning factory?
I could hardly stand by and watch such a promising young blood as yourself be torn to shreds by some gutter scowl.
À propos de vous et moi, ouais, j'avoue, mais pour le moment, je suis pas très chaud. Hein.
William Bishop wasn't the vampire that created me then.
No, Jonathan. Whatever their strength and demeanor, Scowls are the progeny of careless vampires. It cannot be the other way round.
What type of vampire is a Scowl?
Not a true vampire. The deformed offspring of lesser vampires. It is a shame these creatures run wild, slaves to their
Après, je sais pas si dans le jeu il y a des romances. Mais pour le moment, je vais être honnête. Lady Ashbury, non.
Why does Dr. Swansea allow you to feed on the patients of the hospital?
Dr. Swansea is a good and compassionate man. He is trying to find a solution for our hunger. Until that happens, he is clever enough to understand that I only feed upon the dying.
What do you know about this Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole?
The Brotherhood is well known amongst London Vampire Society. As long as our kind is discreet, and as long as they do not interfere, we have come to a mutual understanding.
And no one suspected you of the murders?
As you well know, suspicion has recently fallen on me of killing for pleasure. But you have my word, Jonathan. I take no pleasure in taking a life.
Et tu prends des frites avec ton sang?
know this is beyond the pale, but may I inquire your age?
Really? And I thought you were gentlemen. If you must know, I'm 27. I've been 27 for a long time now, and 27 I shall remain.
Ah oui, donc elle a 227 ans en fait. Ah, 27 ans. Oh, je lui ai adoré une petite trentaine. Ouais.
Very well. But I believe there is more to this than you are saying.
A lady has to have some secrets.
And who bestowed upon you this eternal youth?
My maker. He left this isle a long time ago.
Oh putain, c'était que sur elle ça. Alors, à propos de Londres.
I've been away from London and England for 3 years. This isn't the city I remember.
Things have gone from bad to worse here, Jonathan. I've lived in this city for a long time, and I've never seen it like this.
The Spanish flu has hit London that bad.
Yes, but it's not just that. I've heard things. Things I've not heard for a very, very long time.
Du fourche-langue.
There are whispers in the shadows. Something far worse than the Spanish flu is here in the city.
Voldemort est de retour.
What is it you fear?
Fear has long since flown this form. But there is something malevolent circling us. I feel fear is merely waiting in the wings.
Are there many vampires here in London?
Immortals are of a rare breed, and we often tend to hide. But you may occasionally meet some of us at night.
Do you know any of them? Have you an idea of the identity of the vampire who attacked me?
You mean your maker? No, Jonathan, I have no clue. But I fear he or she is as careless as cruel. To let you discover your new condition by yourself.
What do you mean?
Every now and then, you may discover an immortal in the deep of the night. But we are a rare and reclusive breed. Our progeny is almost never accidental.
Will they all be as affable as you, my lady?
I do not see why not. But remember, even the shark smiles before he bites.
That sounds like a lesson from experience.
Vampire politics are as intricate and sometimes tedious as a game of chess in a gentleman's club. I've learned from experience it is best to decline to play.
When I awoke, changed, I was chased and attacked by vampire hunters. Prepared and well-trained.
Though I can't be certain, more than likely it was the once glorious Guard of Priwen.
Once glorious, but still dangerous.
They have seen better days, but all fanatics are dangerous. You would be wise to stay clear. They are sworn to destroy our kind.
You make them sound like some sort of cult.
More a society, and like all the best ones, a secret society. I thought them almost gone, but it seemed they have been recruiting.
I've been hearing a voice talking in my head. Is this some kind of insanity? It feels like the voice of the vampire that created me.
Hush. Tell no one this. It would be unwise to talk of such things amongst British immortals. Speak no more of your maker.
How could this cause offense?
Only the powerful immortals can mentally call to their progeny. No vampire or hunter will sleep easy, knowing that an unidentified elder is stalking the streets of London.
Excuse my forwardness, but... are you my maker?
Me? Goodness, no. Only a foolish immortal would create a progeny without taking precaution, and I'm no fool.
Alors elle dit qu'il est stupide, mais qu'il est très puissant. Ok.
A vampire? Is that what I am? What we are?
Such a crude word. defined by penny dreadfuls and drunken hacks. No. You are now an Ekon, and that you shall remain.
Are you an Ekon too?
Yes, I am. We are the closest thing to what man refers to as vampires.
Vampyr, c'est pas politiquement correct.
So we are Ekons. How can I identify us amongst other vampires?
How to put it? All Ekon are vampires, but all vampires are not Ekon. We are but a branch of the immortal tree.
I don't understand. Why was I created and then left for dead?
That is a question only the one who made you can answer. It's not normal practice. I doubt even if you find him, he will answer you, considering how cruelly he treated you.
So me being a vampire could have been a mistake.
I very much doubt it, Jonathan. Contrary to the legends, it is not as simple to make another vampire by just biting someone.
I'd like to avoid creating another vampire by mistake anyway. Tell me, how is it done?
The process is dangerous.
Écoutez là, celui qui a... Qu'est-ce qu'il est con. Oh, putain, alors bien joué parce que depuis tout à l'heure j'ai essayé de trouver une blague avec Ekon. Et j'arrivais pas à en trouver, mais tu l'as trouvé, bien joué. J'ai essayé d'en chercher une en me disant, putain, qu'est-ce qu'elle est conne. Mais bien joué, tu l'as trouvé. Ok, bon bah merci pour le lore.
I bid you farewell, for now, my lady. I must quickly analyze the blood I took from Nurse Crane's patient.
Alors, je vais juste aller dans mon bureau. Tartare ferreux. Alors, recycler. Hop. Bon, est-ce que je peux améliorer mes armes? Amélioration des armes. Oui, moi, je sais comment ça marche. Ah, cool. C'est parti pour la scie. Hop. Alors, augmente les dégâts infligés de 10%. Absorbe des points de sang lorsque l'arme touche sa cible. Ok, ça moi c'est fait, et ça, petit morceau de poignée de qualité, bon, ça va être chaud à trouver mais on verra bien. Un traitement contre la bronchie, un traitement pour le rhume, là j'en ai déjà un. Hop, on va se refaire le plein de picouse. Et j'ai découvert le schéma d'endurance. Ah merde, échantillon de sang vif liquide, ok.
Razvan Vasily was infected by Spanish flu, but also has the highly unstable blood of the Scowls. Is the London vampire epidemic transmitted through the flu? I should talk to Dr. Swansea about it.
C'est combien? C'était... Ah, c'est 1003. Hein. Attends, non, ça c'est autophagie. Ah ouais, mais remarque, je l'utilise pas mal. 252 soins. Ouais, bah allez. 2000 et 2000. J'ai que 205, donc je ne pense pas que je pourrais utiliser autre chose. Ah, tout le monde va mieux là. Le prix des produits peut être changé, d'accord. Il y a juste lui à guérir. Et ces deux-là, mais voilà. Ah oui, lui je l'avais guéri aussi. Et eux deux, je m'en foutais un peu. Lui, je ne l'ai pas rencontré. Du coup, là, j'ai rencontré tout le monde. Là, j'ai encore rencontré personne des docs. On en prendra plus. Non, hop. Bon, et ben il est pile 19h, on a fini un chapitre. On est bien. On est bien, on en a plus appris sur nous-mêmes. Je pense que c'est un très bon moment pour s'arrêter là. Bon, le jeu me plaît mieux là, ça avance, c'est cool. Donc du coup, bah, je le continuerai demain à 3h, 3h30, hein, comme d'hab. Puis bah, d'ici là, je vous souhaite une bonne soirée. Et puis bah, à la prochaine pour de nouvelles aventures. Et promis, à chaque stream de Vampyr, j'essaierai de faire un jeu de mots avec 100 pour le titre des streams. C'est un engagement politique. Et je tiens mes engagements politiques. Voilà. Allez, des bisous.